Hello guys, welcome back to Guitar Tech Adventures. Today we're going to dive into part 2 of our guitar build. In part 1 we talked about the why, the quality, and the parts that we're going to be using for this build. We also fitted the neck and assembled the hardware. So let's keep going. Alright guys, so check this out. These tuners are really cool, right? But if you put them over here and you put the bushing, I think that's what they're called, on top of it, here, see how it still moves? This is supposed to secure it in place and not allow it to do, let's see if I can get it to focus, to do this. See that? It's not supposed to happen. This is supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to have the tuning keys in place without having to screw them in from the back. So there's two things you can do. You can dowel the hole, put a piece of wood and re-drill it, or I'm gonna buy thicker bushings so I don't have to do that to the guitar. That's a major repair. So I'm just gonna order bigger ones, which I think these are 9mm according to what it says on the specs, which normally when you're building a guitar you're supposed to know all the specs and you're supposed to measure things and buy the parts and la 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 la. Well, I'm a little out of practice. So now we're gonna have to wait to install these, but I'm gonna continue to work. I'm gonna use the tuners or the tuning keys that came with the guitar, because those should fit over here, and then with those we're gonna set the bridge. So let's get going. Alright guys, so check this out. With these, I put the original ones that came with the guitar, which are just normal OEM parts. You know, they don't have anything special, just factory parts. As you can see, nothing, you know, no brand, no nothing. With these, I'm gonna put the high E string here, the low E string here, and I'm gonna run it through the nut all the way down to the bridge. Basically just center it with the neck. And that's kind of like what's gonna be our game plan for this part of the build. I ordered the replacements for the tuning keys, so they should be here tomorrow. So hopefully I can just replace them real quick and continue making the video. All right, so basically I was measuring from the nut to the high E saddle, 25.5 inches. So as you can see, it is pretty, it's a little bit under 25.5 here, but that saddle has no adjustment at all. So I can move it back and forth depending on what I'm going to be doing. So at this spot is where I'm going to set the bridge. Now I just need to make sure that the plate is leveled and all that kind of stuff. The strings are all where they need to be. So I think we're good to go. Start drilling. All right, so check this out. This is how I measure what drill bit I need to use. There is numbers and all that stuff, but I personally cannot remember these numbers. So I'm not very good with that, but there is a rule of thumb where I'm going to show you now in the close-up. What I'm looking for is this. So you see how the screw, let me see, there you go. See the screw over here? Okay, so what you want to look for, if you don't know the measurement or not good with measurements as far as what kind of drill bit you need to be using, you can use this method. So if I put them next to each other, let me see if I can center it right. There you go. You can see that the drill bit is a little bit smaller than the screw. But the main thing is that the drill bit is basically a little bit smaller than the center of the screw. If you look over here, you see? So that allows the grooves on the screw to attach to the wood. So that's how I measure that. Second thing I do, I put a blue tape so that way I know when to stop when I'm drilling something. In this case, this is the blue tape that I had for something else that I drilled. And I'm gonna just move it forward and do the same thing with this one. So that way I don't over drill, I don't go, across the whole body of the guitar or any of that stuff. Okay, so that's kind of like how I work, trying to figure out what screws to use and all that stuff. That's a little tip. Alright guys, so I got a new tool, so we're gonna do a quick unboxing. So check this out. This is sort of a solder iron that I found in Amazon. It's by the brand WB. So one of the reasons that I picked this is because it came with everything. You know, this is for you to sponge to cool down and get rid of the excess solder that you get. This is holding the solder thing, so which is pretty cool. I never had one of these, so I'm very excited to try this and see how helpful it is. Multiple different size tips. I think this is the best that it's gonna be helping us with today. Okay, so you can see this is the hole for the bridge ground right there. Now in this part, you guys can see I marked it with like a little red dot. That's where the hole is for the cable to be attached to this to ground all the electronics. So that's why we're doing this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna sand down the chrome on that little spot so we have enough surface to solder the ground cable. You can use sandpaper or you can use a Dremel like I'm doing it now. There you go. So that's what we did. We made a little spot so we can solder. All right, so the first step is to tin any component that you're gonna be soldering on. So in this case, we're gonna put a layer of solder on this. FYI, I haven't done this in a while, so let's see if I still have my magic touch. I have to usually warm it up enough so it will take. Doesn't look very pretty. Doesn't really need to. Also, I'm out of practice, so that's why it looks a little wonky. But at the end of the day, you're not gonna see that, and if we do it correctly, should be okay. Now for ground wires, this is what we're gonna be doing. I have this little box with multicolor things, and normally I use black, but as you can see, it's an empty one. So I ran out of the black color one, so we're gonna use red because why not? It's the color of the guitar. So we're gonna be very generous with this. There you go. Boom. All right. So now I have a little vise here, but you just need something to hold this with, and I'm sure I have something somewhere, but same thing. I'm gonna tin this here, and we gotta tin this also. There you go. Boom. Simple as that. You guys gotta be careful because this part gets a little hot when you're doing this because there's very thin wires. See, that's perfect tinning. Now, every time you solder something, this is the test. If you're able to do this, you see, it wasn't done right. Okay, that's clean. Okay, let's do this again. Let's see if I can show the camera over here. The heat usually transfers faster when you have a little bit of solder on it. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna warm this up, and then we're gonna feed it more solder. All right, step number 2. All right. All right, test. Now we're in business. So that's perfect. Okay, so what I noticed, it was the temperature that wasn't right. So this wasn't hot enough, and that's why the solder didn't take. Okay, all right, so now that we have that, perfect. Still got it. So now we're gonna look at the wiring diagrams. So first one will be this one with the pickups. So the black one is the ground, the yellow is the lead on these, and it gives you the one version of the wiring. So this is part 1. If you look over here, you have what? There you go. You have ground, you have everything coming out. Okay, since I bought pre-wired harnessed already for this build, also came with a little wiring diagram. So everything is done except connecting the output jack and connecting the pickups. So if you look over here, it's telling you where to connect the pickups. So the lead for the pickup will go here on the bridge, and then the lead for the other pickup will be here on the other neck pickup. After that, the other ones will go to ground, which will be the black one, and they're already pre-wired out cables, which will be these, go to the output jack. And we're done, honestly. It's pretty simple. Once you get these things going, everything is so much easier. And I'm glad they has the orange capacitor. Those are really good. But yeah, so let's get to work. In this part, I usually cross the wires like that, but I wrap it on heat shrinks to protect the connection. Alright. Now we're gonna wire the output jack and we're gonna test the pickups. So black one should be ground, white should be live. Same thing here. So strip down the live one already. This one came with quick connect over here. So I'm gonna get rid of these cables and I'm gonna use these two cables. And then we're gonna test the signal. All right, so let's do the first one. Same old, same old. I'm gonna tin both of them. First one we're gonna attach is this one. Normally when I do these, well, I have my little pliers, small pliers, so I'm gonna do this. Should I make it into a hook? Like that. So I do that, then I go over here and I just hook it in place. Boom. And this should give it enough to hold it in place. So this is the moment of truth. We are gonna see if I did everything right. This is the amp, it's not the wiring that sounds like that. At least for now. So, neck pickup. We got signal, perfect. Middle is this and this. Perfect. Now, bridge. Nothing here. Perfect. Now, tone. Perfect. And we're going to test tone on the neck. Perfect. And there you have it. And that's a wrap for part 2 of our guitar build series. We attempted to do the tuning keys today. Didn't work out. Wrong part. I ordered the correct one. Should be here in a couple of days. We set the bridge in the right position with the right scale, all that good stuff. We wired the electronics. We tested the electronics. Everything looks good. I need to do a little bit of cable management there, but we'll do that on the next episode. And if you like the series, comment, like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate your support. That's it for us. This is Hector from Guitar Tech Adventures, and I'll see you in the next one.